Oh God, the wrong date. 13.
Yes, sir.
12:30.
Oh God, I hate this.
The world was shaken when King Charles, after decades of waiting for the throne, shocked everyone with a single statement: "I resign." For a figure who had been groomed for this role since birth, this was more than just an announcement. It was a declaration that sent shockwaves through the British monarchy, the public, and the global stage. So why would King Charles, who had waited his whole life for this moment, choose to walk away? What led him to make such a startling decision? Keep reading to uncover the untold reasons behind his resignation, and what this could mean for the future of the royal family. A moment that will go down in history. When King Charles stepped before the cameras and declared, "I resign," the world was left stunned. The air felt thick with disbelief as millions watched the most unexpected moment in royal history unfold before their eyes. No one expected this. The British monarchy, known for its long-standing tradition and its reverence for continuity, had never seen a reigning monarch step down. The media exploded with speculation, while royal experts and historians scrambled to understand the motivations behind such a dramatic move. Was King Charles overwhelmed by the responsibilities of the crown? Did the weight of leading the nation and representing a centuries-old institution finally break him? Or was there something more personal at play? An issue hidden behind the royal facade that had driven him to this shocking decision? These questions were on everyone's mind. As the headlines screamed and the public buzzed, the monarchy found itself at a crossroads, unsure of where this unprecedented decision would lead. As the world waited for an explanation, the implications of his resignation began to sink in. What did it mean for the future of the British royal family? Was this the end of the monarchy as we knew it, or just the beginning of a new era? King Charles's resignation raised more questions than answers, leaving the world to wonder how such a momentous decision would shape the future. The weight of the crown. For most, the idea of being king is a dream come true. But for King Charles, it may have been more of a burden than an honor. From the moment he was born, his life was mapped out for him, training for royal duties, carrying the heavy expectations of a nation, and being scrutinized by the public at every turn. As the heir to the throne, he was often thrust into the spotlight, with the world watching his every move. The pressure to live up to his mother's legacy, Queen Elizabeth II, likely weighed heavily on Charles. She had ruled for more than 7 decades, leaving a legacy of strength, poise, and unwavering duty. For Charles, the comparison was inevitable. Despite his best efforts to carve out his own path, he was always seen through the lens of his mother's reign. This constant comparison must have been exhausting, making him question whether he could truly live up to the monumental expectations placed upon him. But the pressure didn't just come from the public. The demands of royal life, public appearances, charity work, and the never-ending responsibilities took a toll on Charles's mental and emotional health. The personal struggles, including his tumultuous marriage to Princess Diana and his complicated relationships with his children, added layers of strain. It's no surprise that, after all these years, King Charles may have decided that stepping down was the only way to preserve his well-being and his future legacy. As the news of his resignation spread, many began to reflect on how the monarchy's expectations may have shaped Charles's decision. Was this a choice born out of exhaustion? Or was it a final stand against the weight of an institution that demanded more than one man could give? Whatever the reason, the monarchy's future would now depend on a new direction, without King Charles at its helm. A kingdom built on continuity. The British monarchy is one of the oldest institutions in the world, built on the foundation of tradition, continuity, and stability. For centuries, the royal family has been the symbol of national unity, a constant in the lives of millions of people. With King Charles's resignation, however, that stability was threatened. Monarchs were never meant to step down voluntarily, and now the very core of the monarchy was shaken. In a nation where tradition reigns supreme, the concept of a monarch resigning is almost unthinkable. The British people have lived through many historical moments, but the resignation of a king is something entirely different. Was King Charles's move an attempt to modernize the monarchy? Was he acknowledging that in today's fast-paced world, the institution must evolve in ways that previous generations never had to? These were the questions on everyone's mind as the news spread. This break from tradition was more than just a personal decision for Charles. It sent a signal that the monarchy could no longer rely solely on the old ways of doing things. The next leader would need to adapt to the changing times and redefine what it means to be the head of the British monarchy. King Charles, in many ways, was handing over the baton to the next generation, one that would need to navigate the challenges of the modern world. But in resigning, was Charles undermining the very foundation of the monarchy? Or was his resignation a sign that he recognized the need for change within the royal family? The monarchy's future now hangs in the balance, and the world waits to see how the royal family will move forward without Charles at the helm. A family torn apart. When King Charles resigned, it wasn't just the nation that was affected. It was the royal family itself. How did his children, especially Prince William, react to such an unexpected turn of events? Charles's decision to step down likely caused a rift within the family, as each member had to come to terms with the idea of a new path forward. While some may have supported his decision, others could have seen it as a betrayal of the royal legacy. Prince William, as the next in line, now faced the heavy responsibility of assuming the throne earlier than expected. This dramatic shift in the family dynamic was undoubtedly challenging. For years, William had been preparing to eventually take the crown, but now that moment had come far sooner than anyone anticipated. How would he balance his family life, his duties, and the pressures of the monarchy all at once? Meanwhile, Prince Harry, who had already distanced himself from royal duties, must have viewed the situation with a mix of disbelief and confusion. His strained relationship with the royal family could have made him feel even more detached from the institution. But what about the other members of the royal family? How did they all feel about King Charles's resignation? These are the questions that lingered in the aftermath of the shocking announcement. The royal family's internal struggles could have profound consequences on the monarchy's stability. How would they heal from this? Could they unite under the leadership of Prince William? Or would this resignation lead to further divisions within the royal ranks? Only time will tell as the monarchy navigates these new, uncertain waters. What happens now? With King Charles's sudden resignation, the future of the monarchy is left in a state of flux. Who will lead next? And how will they reshape the institution to face the challenges of the 21st century? Will the monarchy remain relevant in a rapidly changing world? Or will it become a relic of the past? These are the questions that now loom large over the royal family and the people of the United Kingdom. The choice of King Charles's successor is one of the most crucial decisions the monarchy will face in its modern history. Prince William is widely regarded as the natural choice to assume the throne, but his leadership will be tested. He will have to contend with not only the expectations of the royal family, but also the demands of the public, who will be looking for someone who can bring stability and modernize the monarchy at the same time. The new monarch will have to navigate a delicate balance, honoring the traditions of the past while embracing the needs and desires of a new generation. The British monarchy, which has endured for over 1,000 years, now finds itself at a crossroads. The question is, can it adapt to the rapidly changing world, or will it struggle to survive in an era where the role of the monarchy is increasingly questioned? As King Charles steps aside, the royal family must now face these questions head-on. The monarchy's future is uncertain, but one thing is clear. This moment will forever alter the course of British history. The world will be watching closely to see what happens next, and whether the British monarchy can evolve or risk becoming irrelevant. Shock and support. When King Charles announced his resignation, the public reaction was a mix of shock, confusion, and, surprisingly, support. The world had never seen a monarch voluntarily step down, and the news was met with a flurry of speculation. Some were horrified by the idea that the British monarchy might not be what it once was, while others viewed the resignation as a brave and necessary move for the future of the monarchy. The supporters of King Charles's decision argued that his resignation showed a level of self-awareness and maturity. They saw it as a move toward a more progressive and modernized monarchy, one that acknowledged the pressures of leadership in the 21st century. For them, stepping down meant giving the monarchy a chance to evolve and move forward with someone younger, who could bring new energy and ideas to the role. On the other hand, critics of the decision were vocal in their disbelief. Many questioned whether Charles had abandoned his royal duty, seeing his resignation as a betrayal to the institution he had spent his life preparing for. Some even feared the move might signal the end of the monarchy as a whole. These mixed emotions left the public divided, some filled with optimism for a new era, while others mourned the loss of the traditional monarchy they had grown up with. But one thing was certain: King Charles had shocked the world, and the consequences of his resignation would be felt for years to come. The public's response to this momentous event was one of deep reflection on what the monarchy stood for and what it would look like moving forward. Was this a new beginning, or the beginning of the end? Prince William's burden. As the heir to the throne, Prince William was expected to inherit the crown eventually. But the question now was, could he carry the weight of the monarchy at such a young age, especially when thrust into the role unexpectedly? The public had always seen him as the next logical choice to become king, but now the circumstances were different. Prince William would have to assume the role much sooner than anticipated, and the pressure was mounting. Prince William had always been groomed for leadership, but stepping into his father's shoes so suddenly came with an immense burden. Would he be ready to lead the monarchy in a way that satisfied both tradition and the demands of modern Britain? His leadership skills had been tested before, but now they would be under an even greater microscope. The British people, along with the international community, would be watching his every move, waiting to see how he would reshape the monarchy for the next generation. The challenges facing Prince William were unprecedented. Not only would he have to manage the public's expectations, but he would also have to deal with the political, social, and economic pressures that came with being the head of state. His ability to balance the traditional role of the monarchy with the needs of a rapidly changing world would define his reign, and whether the monarchy would thrive or falter under his leadership. As King Charles stepped down, the world's attention now shifted to Prince William. The burden of the crown was heavy, and many wondered if he was prepared for the monumental task ahead. Only time would tell whether Prince William could live up to the legacy of his father, and if he could modernize the monarchy in a way that ensured its survival for generations to come. The end of an era. King Charles's resignation was a pivotal moment in history, signaling the end of an era for the British monarchy. After decades of anticipation, the world watched as he stepped down from the role he had spent his life preparing for. His reign, although short, was marked by his desire to bring modernization to the monarchy. But his sudden resignation left many to wonder how his legacy would be remembered. Charles had spent years trying to balance the royal tradition with the need for progress. From his focus on social issues like climate change to his efforts to make the monarchy more relatable to younger generations, King Charles had aimed to reshape the monarchy's image. But his resignation raised questions about whether his efforts had been successful, or if he had simply failed to live up to the expectations placed upon him. Would history see him as a king who dared to challenge tradition, or as one who walked away too soon? The British monarchy had always been a symbol of continuity, and King Charles's resignation threatened to undermine that. His sudden decision to step down left a void in the royal family, and many wondered if this move would tarnish the reputation of the monarchy. However, it also opened the door for Prince William to step up and prove himself as a capable leader, one who could carry the monarchy into a new era. In the years to come, historians would likely debate King Charles's decision to resign. Was it an act of courage and foresight, or was it a mistake that would define the end of the monarchy? One thing is for certain: the legacy of King Charles, however short his reign, would be a subject of much discussion for years to come. A new chapter begins. With King Charles's resignation, the British royal family now faces a new and uncertain future. Prince William, who had long been expected to inherit the throne, would now be forced to step into his father's shoes much sooner than anticipated. But what would this mean for the royal family and the monarchy as a whole? Was the monarchy prepared for such a drastic shift? Prince William would have to navigate this transition carefully, balancing the demands of tradition with the need for change. The royal family had always been seen as a symbol of stability, but Charles's resignation had shaken that image. Now, it was up to Prince William to bring the monarchy into the modern era. while also honoring the history and traditions that had defined it for centuries. The world would be watching closely as the royal family moved forward. Could Prince William maintain the monarchy's relevance in a rapidly changing world? Would he be able to unite the family and restore confidence in the institution? His leadership would be put to the test in ways that his father's reign never was, and the future of the monarchy rested squarely on his shoulders. But one thing was clear: the royal family had entered a new chapter. The question was whether that chapter would be one of renewal and growth, or whether the monarchy would struggle to adapt to the changing times. Only time would reveal the answers. The royal rift deepens. When King Charles made the shocking decision to resign, the world expected a reaction from his family. But it was Prince Harry's response that captured the most attention. As the black sheep of the royal family, Harry had long been at odds with the monarchy. But now that his father was stepping down, would he take this opportunity to make amends? Or would this resignation deepen the rift between him and the royal family? Prince Harry, who had already distanced himself from royal duties, seemed to view his father's resignation as a validation of his own decisions to step away from the public eye. For Harry, this could have been seen as an opportunity to finally break free from the constraints of the monarchy and focus on his own future, without the burden of family expectations weighing him down. But for many, Prince Harry's lack of public support for his father's decision only deepened the already existing tensions. How would the royal family move forward if there was no united front? With Charles stepping down, it became increasingly clear that the dynamics within the royal family would continue to shift, with Prince Harry playing a critical role in how that narrative would unfold. The royal family's internal struggles were now in the public eye more than ever, and Harry's response to his father's resignation would be a key factor in the monarchy's future. Would Harry finally return to the fold and help rebuild the fractured family? Or would he continue to chart his own path away from the institution? How the world took the news. The news of King Charles's resignation sent shockwaves across the globe. For many, it was an unprecedented event that raised questions about the monarchy's future. World leaders, political figures, and celebrities alike were quick to react, with a mix of support, shock, and speculation. What did this mean for global diplomacy? And how would it affect the relationships between the British monarchy and other countries? For some world leaders, the news was seen as a breath of fresh air, a move toward a more modern and adaptable monarchy. Leaders from progressive nations viewed King Charles's resignation as a sign that the royal family was ready to evolve with the times. They hoped this decision would allow for a more inclusive and contemporary approach to leadership, one that would connect with younger generations around the world. On the other hand, some were deeply concerned about the impact of such a decision. In traditional monarchies, a sudden resignation was virtually unheard of, and many worried it might destabilize the institution. There were those who feared that the resignation would have a ripple effect, shaking the confidence in monarchies worldwide. As the news spread, it became clear that King Charles's resignation was not just a personal decision. It was a moment that would affect the future of the monarchy and its influence on the global stage. The global reaction underscored the significance of the British royal family, not only in the United Kingdom, but across the world. King Charles's decision to step down wasn't just a British matter, it was an international event. His legacy and the future of the monarchy would have a lasting impact on global politics, culture, and relationships between nations. The royal family's public image. With King Charles's shocking resignation, the royal family was faced with an unexpected challenge: how to maintain its public image in the aftermath. For years, the monarchy had represented stability, tradition, and continuity. But now, with such an unprecedented move by the king, how could they rebuild trust and maintain their relevance? Prince William, now in line to assume the throne much sooner than anticipated, would be under immense pressure to restore the royal family's image. The public had always seen him as the natural successor, but the sudden vacancy left many questions about how he would approach the job. Would he embrace the traditions of the past, or would he modernize the monarchy to align with the needs and expectations of today's world? Additionally, the royal family's image had already been tested by personal scandals, public rifts, and shifting perceptions of the monarchy's role in modern society. King Charles's resignation only added fuel to the fire. And now, The family had to decide how to navigate this difficult moment. Would they rise to the occasion, or would the resignation signify the unraveling of an institution that had stood for centuries? For the monarchy, maintaining public confidence would be crucial. The family would have to show that they could evolve with the times without sacrificing their core values. Whether they succeeded would depend on how well they navigated this unprecedented moment, and whether Prince William could unite the family and bring it into the future. Prince William's next steps. As the heir to the throne, Prince William now finds himself at the forefront of an uncertain future for the British monarchy. The world had always seen him as the future king. But now that the future had arrived much sooner than expected, the stakes were higher than ever. What would his reign look like, and could he preserve the legacy of the monarchy while bringing it into the 21st century? Prince William's approach to leadership would be crucial in shaping the monarchy's future. He had spent years preparing for the role, but now, with King Charles stepping down, he would have to prove that he could handle the responsibility. His ability to balance the monarchy's rich history with the demands of modern society would determine his success as king. The challenges ahead for Prince William were immense. He would need to manage not only the monarchy's image but also its political, social, and economic relevance in a rapidly changing world. The monarchy could no longer operate as it once did. Prince William would have to be more than just a symbolic figurehead. He would need to be a leader who could unite the country and the royal family, while also connecting with younger generations. At the same time, Prince William would have to deal with the ongoing global scrutiny that came with the title. His actions, decisions, and even personal life would be closely watched. The pressure on him to succeed would be immense, but if anyone was capable of carrying the weight of the crown, it was him. The future of the monarchy now rested firmly in his hands. For the final goodbye. As King Charles left the throne, his decision left behind a legacy that would be debated for years to come. His resignation was seen by some as a courageous act, but to others, it was a sign of weakness. In either case, his time on the throne was relatively short, but it left an undeniable mark on the British monarchy. The changes he implemented, from his approach to global diplomacy to his focus on environmental issues, will likely be remembered as part of his legacy. The question remains, however, will King Charles's resignation lead to a stronger monarchy under Prince William? Or will it signify the beginning of the end for the institution he once inherited? His decision to step down was unprecedented, and as the royal family moves forward, there will be much speculation about whether this bold move will be seen as a turning point or a misstep. The British monarchy has seen many ups and downs over the centuries, and this moment will surely be another chapter in its long and storied history. For now, the future of the royal family is uncertain, but one thing is clear. King Charles's resignation has set the stage for a new era, one that will shape the monarchy for generations to come. While the monarchy's future remains in flux, the impact of King Charles's decision will be felt for years to come. Whether this moment signals a new chapter in royal history or the beginning of the end for the British monarchy, only time will tell. A new era for the British monarchy? As we look to the future, the British monarchy faces a defining moment. King Charles's resignation has already begun to change the course of history, and now it's up to Prince William to navigate the uncertain waters ahead. Can he modernize the monarchy without losing its traditions? Will the royal family remain as influential as it once was? Or will this mark the end of the monarchy as we know it? The road ahead is fraught with challenges, but it also offers an opportunity for growth and evolution. Prince William has already shown that he is capable of leading, but now it's time for him to prove that he can carry the legacy of the British monarchy into a new era. The world will be watching, and the fate of the royal family will be determined by the decisions he makes in the coming years. As for King Charles, his resignation has set the stage for a new chapter in royal history. The monarchy's future is now in the hands of a new generation, and only time will tell what that future holds. Will Prince William rise to the occasion, or will the monarchy face even greater challenges in the years to come? The journey is just beginning, and the world is waiting to see what happens next. As King Charles steps down and the world watches closely, the future of the British monarchy hangs in the balance. Will Prince William step up to the immense challenge and lead the royal family into a new era? The journey is far from over, And only time will reveal the true impact of these historic events. What do you think about King Charles's resignation and the future of the monarchy? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on the royal family's evolving story. Stay tuned as we continue to follow this monumental chapter in history.